Yo, what's up, everyone? Welcome in to a Snaps reaction show. Yeah, I guess it's probably the podcast feed. This is new. Little college football playoff reaction. Week 2, the college football playoff reveal just went down, and wanting to do our part in the college football propaganda machine, we are going to break it down and talk about the exact same top 6 teams and yet try to find angles to make it matter and make it interesting and make you care, because that's what we as college football prognosticators have all agreed to do. And I'm very excited about it. Look at this volume switcher. I love this thing, dude. Everybody should go check this out. Go get it for sure. Great color, right?
Very powerful V. Just
powerful
solid.
V,
I think the new V set definitely better than the old V. Way better.
As you can see, I'm in the Lions Pride Inn. Continue to get excited for the release of Season Discovery World of Warcraft. Aaron is in his beautiful office at home. Let's get into it. We've never done one of these things before. Where do you want to start? Like, do you want to go through all the rankings, or do you just want to do top 6?
I would say let's just focus on the top 10. I really don't care too much after 10, because it doesn't really affect
stuff there.
Yeah, a little bit here or there. Nothing crazy. I mean, nothing really jumped out to me just yet. Looking at 10 through 25.
I mean, Louisville.
I don't want to be around the bush. I don't want to be around the bush here.
11 is still cool. Like, that's okay. You just want to get into Georgia, Ohio State.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's what everyone wants to get into.
Let's start there. That's okay. Fine. So, yes, thank you, because something needs to make this interesting, because, again, it just came in exactly like last week. Oregon, Washington, Florida State, Michigan, Georgia, Ohio State. And you should have felt the pause before they said Georgia at 2. And then I could feel just a chorus of barks throughout the Southeast. Bulldog fans, how are we feeling? No respect for the Mizzou win at home? Are you kidding me?
Yeah, I was shocked. I'm like, I'm not disappointed. I'm just a little upset. It's like I'm talking to my kid.
What?
Not disappointed. I'm very upset.
Why?
It just, to me, I feel like I sit back here and I ask the question: do they truly watch the tape in a way that they understand football? When
good football minds on that committee, dude.
Yeah, I don't know about the great football minds on that committee, to be honest. You can't tell me now that Georgia has gotten the win that they needed to get. I know it's a new season every year. I get that, but there has to be some sort of back-to-back national champs kind of in your mind, a team that hasn't lost in like 700 days, that just won against the number 12 team in the country, that you only dropped 2 spots because that's what you think about Missouri as a football team. They only dropped to 14, yet Ohio State once again
lost to number 2.
What's that?
It's not necessarily a commentary on Mizzou being good to me. It's just because they lost to number 2. Like, there's no shame in losing to Georgia and covering. They covered,
but they still put them at 14. I think they respect Missouri as a football team this year. If you watched Ohio State this season, you purely put them there for the strength of schedule. That strength of schedule had a massive hit when Notre Dame lost to Clemson.
The Penn State win is still much better than the Mizzou win, though.
Is it? Who is Penn State? That gets you, like, why does Penn State deserve to be there? Yeah, but
they lost. Mizzou's lost twice. Like, that's why it's better. Yeah.
I don't know. Mizzou's actually had a decent schedule. Penn State really hasn't played anyone. I don't buy the Penn State thing.
That's not a bad counter. I'll give you that.
I'm just saying, like, at some point when you have equal wins, look at the eye test a little bit, please. Just look at the eye test a little bit. And the eye test, clearly, there's not a person who doesn't know football that would say Ohio State's a better football team to the eye than Georgia.
But it's also not obvious. Like, I'm not going to say that Georgia's just going to like beat Ohio State 10 times out of 10. I still like how that Ohio State defense matches up with the Georgia offense. Ohio State, well, no, I was going to say Ohio State can maybe run on Georgia, but I don't know. That might or may not be true. Probably not. The thing is, though, I don't think it's as cut and dry as you're making it out to be. I kind of agree with what you saw Reese Davis say. If like anybody actually watched it, I don't know if people listening did or not, but basically Greg McElroy was getting upset because there's no consistency in all of this. And I liked Reese's counter argument of, no, there is consistency, but the thing is, it's a mixture of all the elements. When you're deciding to make these decisions at the margins, something as simple as Penn State having 1 loss, Mizzou having 2, and so Ohio State technically having the better resume. And then while Georgia may maybe look like slightly the better team, it's not enough to overcome the better resume element. Whereas in another situation like Michigan, who doesn't have the resume of Florida State, they look so like the disparity in the eye test between Michigan State and Florida State, or Michigan and Florida State is such that they do get to jump the resume. So I'm saying there is a consistency there. It's just a swirling gumbo of elements that matter more or less in each individual situation.
I would say the difference between Michigan and Florida State in that situation is similar to Georgia and Ohio State.
Oh, I think that's a little red and black glasses, my man.
No.
Who's that coming down the track?
Don't at me with that. Don't at me with that. The different what you just described right now is exactly how I feel with Georgia and Ohio State.
I know. I'm saying I don't think that is. I don't know if I believe that is accepted as majority opinion.
Who would win, right? Who do you feel better about at the moment, Ohio State or Florida State? I think Florida State's a more complete team than Ohio State is.
I
don't. Ohio State's offense is atrocious.
I think I would choose. I think I would choose Ohio State. But again, it kind of speaks to what we're talking about. These are close. I mean, what are we talking about? We're talking about choosing teams. It'd be a 2-point spread, a 3-point spread, either way, coin flip games. Locke asking, how is Mizzou not the first 2-loss team? Because the committee hates Georgia.
Yeah.
Duh, dude. Who is the loss team actually? Tennessee?
I think it's Tennessee. Louisville at 11.
Earlier. And that's Tennessee. Just how football, for whatever dumb reason, works, is when you lose matters.
No, Oregon State. Sorry. Oregon State at 12, Tennessee at 13.
Yeah. So Oregon, but even Oregon State lost earlier, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's just a weird quirk of football. Just kind of is what it is. Actually, Oregon State lost 2 weeks ago to Arizona. God, Arizona at 21. How about that, dude?
They've been kicking butt.
Arizona's been used, but this is why we all don't ever know what the fuck we're talking about a lot of times. Because Arizona has been used as a attack angle on many different teams, right? Well, Arizona played this team close, and Arizona played that team close. And okay, well, guess what? Jetfish kind of has Arizona playing really good football. And now they're 21.
Mm-hmm.
And so again, here we go. My Huskies, despite being undefeated, despite having the committee's best win, despite just beating USC and knocking them out of the rankings in the Coliseum, and despite being undefeated in the conference that is more ranked than the other conference, my Huskies still on the outside looking in. God damn, you hate to see it.
I thought Greg did make a good point about the 1-loss team. So I'm looking at, really it's 6.
Yeah, I feel 8. That. I mean, no, that's what I'm saying with Oregon, but none of y'all ever want to admit that. You just want to,
No, to me, Oregon does pass the eye test. And I thought whoever made the point, and it might have been Booger, who said, I think a lot has to do with the way in which they lost to Washington. Like that was a game where a lot of people, including myself, walked away saying, I know you hate when I say this, but Oregon looked like the better team. They just didn't win the football game, which I know sounds absolutely stupid. And you're going to try to.
It doesn't sound stupid. A lot of y'all say that. A lot of people agree with that. I just hate that take. That's my opinion, though. That's my opinion.
But I do think that's their saving grace. Like, hey, you lost to an undefeated team that's number 5, and most people walked away from that game saying, "Oh my God, Oregon looked like the better football team." So I think you kind of ignore the fact that their schedule has been absolute crap, and besides the win versus Utah, really, and you just focus on, that it was a close loss to Washington. But I honestly, to be honest, like I would tend to lean more towards Greg. Like I'm perfectly fine. You know how I feel about Texas. I would agree in the sense of putting Texas, Alabama,
look,
Oregon.
Greg's Texas resume argument does ring very strong. Yeah. And Texas has won a couple big games there, including just being the Big 12 defending champs with a backup quarterback. Like, you know me. I love making fun of Texas Longhorns, but you got to give credit where credit's due. Yeah. So, no, I think Greg's right there. I think Texas should actually be 6. That is a good point.
Yeah.
I did not realize. I know we talked about very early on going into the Alabama game. I did not realize that Texas opponents still had such a strong record overall. Like they've just played a lot of teams that have won.
Well, the Big 12 is just. I mean, I feel like we were dogging the Big 12 beginning of the season, and then all of a sudden, the past month, the entire conference is just completely grown. And
well, they've got more interesting. Like some of the teams that look like again, Oklahoma State got their ass kicked by South Alabama, but now's actually good.
Yep.
Like we forget that you are allowed to grow during a football season.
Kansas State, West Virginia is a good team this year. Like
West Virginia's all right. I'm not giving West Virginia good.
They're still
status.
6-3 team. Like it's not.
Yeah.
They've overcome you're the worst Power 5 conference in America to now. I would say they're maybe the third best.
Well, again, but they kind of don't control
conference.
their own destiny, though. Again, if Florida State goes undefeated, you cannot supplant them.
No.
If Georgia goes undefeated, they're in. And if Washington goes undefeated, they're in. And so technically, yeah, they don't control their own destiny. The Big 12 is not. But I agree, it's a fun conference, and it's gotten much better.
Yeah.
How about the disrespect of Oklahoma State 15 and then OU at 17? You love to see it if you're a Cowboy fan. And what a quirk this is. The Brian Kelly Bowl, LSU and Notre Dame neck and neck. It's a couple of 6-3 teams at 19 and 20 battling it out.
Who drops out next week?
I think that would require me to check all these team schedules.
Ole Miss, Penn State. I think Penn State
drops out the top 10?
I think Penn State's might drop to like below 15 after this weekend.
I think that you, through a very long and winding transitive sports property angle, have because I agree with you a lot of what you say about Penn State, but I can't help but wonder if you've gone a bit too far. And because there's a subconscious, you're wanting to subconsciously cut down on the Ohio State resume here.
I do want to cut down the Ohio State resume. Like once Penn State loses this weekend, Ohio State may drop to 3 because then all of a sudden both your losses look bad. Michigan would have stomped Penn State, which that win would look more impressive.
The committee's not that reactive though.
I think they think they're going to have to be, or they're going to get
fired.
Well,
actually, no. I'm sorry. No, that scenario does make a lot of sense because Georgia will get a very big win if they win, and Michigan will get a very big win if they win. No, so that actually makes sense. Dropping to 3 makes sense.
Yeah, I think this is Ohio State's last weekend at number 1. Okay. One way or the other. Like I think even if Georgia loses to Ole Miss, Michigan beats Penn State, I think Michigan answers the question of like you've dominated the week schedule. Like you've been almost near perfect this entire season. Now, if you bring that performance to Penn State, I think then the eye test matches a big resume win. They would jump Ohio State. Obviously, if Georgia beats Ole Miss, they jump Ohio State. I think it would take both of those teams losing for Ohio State to keep the number 1 spot next weekend.
Let's get some of these comments. Rick Patton says the eye test has to count for something. I think the eye test should count for the least amount. Like I think wins first and foremost, and then give me the hard data. Like Texas opponent's record being the best out of anyone. Like that's what I actually care about because the eye test is ultimately opinion, like for all the talk of this is objectively what's taking place in the field, you can still have 2 people break down the same film and come to different opinions about what they think went wrong on the play. Yeah. And in obvious situations, there will be probably an objectively right. This is the main source of the bad, but like, I don't know, man, eye test is a dangerous, it is like the dark side in Star Wars. It's all based on like pride and emotion. And so I think you got to be careful with the eye test.
Numbers can lie too, but whatever.
That's okay. That's a fair counter argument.
I mean, I think the perfect example is Ohio State this past weekend. Like if you just look at the box score, like, wow, they dominated. But if you go watch the game, you're like, that didn't feel anything like a domination and kind of was a little scary at times.
Call. I like that. That's a good call.
That's the perfect example.
Says T-Bob, you got to stop blindly trusting Penn State and Ohio State offenses. They have real issues. No, bro, I know. I've told y'all that I think Kyle McCord sucks. What are you talking about? Drew Aller sucks.
Yeah.
Like but what I'm saying is a 9-1 pit. Like I don't care what you think about what I'm saying. Like I'm not saying this. I am pointing out the reality that a 9-1 Penn State win is going to score above an 8-2 Mizzou win. That is just it. No matter how you want to split it, that's just the reality of the situation. Look at that, Justin Major. I am in Goldshire. And what's up, dog? Swing by. Come on.
Question for you.
Can't wait.
If weird things happen right now, can we put the poll one more time, PG, just to make sure I'm saying this right? Okay, yes. Texas and Alabama both win their respective conferenmes.
Florida State loses. The best.
That's the interesting conversation. Like who goes in over who?
Let me try again on the last name. Bo Shishelstil. Okay, so Florida State loses, and I like a one
There's one
loss.
spot. There's one spot left. It goes
That's what I'm
between
saying.
Texas
A
and Alabama.
one-loss Big 12 champion Texas and a one-loss SEC champion Alabama is the
Who just
most
beat Georgia, who would probably be
brain-breaking.
the number one
That's
team
what
in the
I'm
country.
saying. It is
Yeah.
the most brain-breaking conundrum that you can possibly conceive
Mhm.
because Texas has won the head-to-head,
Yep.
right? And yet Alabama would simultaneously have the best win and the best loss because they would have lost to Texas. So Texas has the head-to-head, but it's also a huge point in Alabama's favor that the loss would be to Texas. Like it literally creates.
And can you leave the SEC out? Can you leave the SEC out?
I think if that happens, I think there is a paradox created in the time-space continuum, and there's a wormhole, and basically reality collapses. So we all need to really hope that does not happen. If UJ goes undefeated and loses SEC championship, they still make playoffs. Not if there's 4 conference champions with 1 loss or less.
Yeah, I agree.
Even though their schedules got nicer at the end here, I think that's maybe the reality.
Florida State's an interesting one, though. If Florida State somehow does drop one the next 3 but wins the ACC, would you put a one-loss Georgia in over them?
Instead of who?
Instead of a one-loss Florida State who wins the ACC.
Oh, yeah. I think Georgia would probably get in there.
Yeah.
Or maybe not, but there'd be a conversation.
Yeah. I would go back to the Texas-Alabama thing real quick. I think you have to put Texas in. You have to take into account.
I know.
And it's not like it was in Austin. It was in Tuscaloosa. I don't care that it was week 2?
Yeah, early
loss.
Went
into Tuscaloosa and won the football game decisively. Like they ran away with it in the fourth quarter.
Is Frankie Russell right? Has Boston College won 5 straight? Because let's see. Yeah. Oh, how about that?
6-3.
So, okay, Florida State, maybe we came after you a little too hard earlier for that little tiff with BC that you had. This BC team seemed to have found something here.
I mean, what wins were Syracuse, UConn, Georgia Tech, Army, and Virginia? Woo!
Wow.
Whoa!
Hey, Aaron, have you ever heard of glass houses? Whoa. And who the fuck should be worrying about throwing stones in them? Do you want to do that same thing you just did with Georgia's resume? Do you want to do that same thing? What are you going to say? Kentucky? Who else did you play? Miami of Ohio? Like somewhere on
better than Syracuse, UConn, Georgia Tech, Army, and Virginia.
I don't know if I believe that.
Not one of those. Virginia is 2-7.
Yeah.
Army is,
but it's a strong 2-7. You know what I'm saying?
Army's
like everybody's talking about it. Tony Elliott's got the thing going the right direction.
UConn is,
bro. Army just beat Air Force. What are you talking about?
1-8.
Army just beat a ranked team. UConn's got Jim Mora Jr. coaching them. He used to be an NFL head coach.
Army's
successful
3-6.
one. Coach Michael Vick, you idiot. How about you learn something about football, Mr. Jezebel Hot Man? Sickle Steel. It's Bo Sickle Steel. Shout out, dude. Too much transitive property going on around here. Yeah, that's the playoff show, right? That's just
thoughts on James Madison from Charlie. Just the one of the dumbest rules ever. Let them go to the bowl season.
Yeah,
absurd.
I agree, dude. I think we're hurtling towards, if LSU takes care of business, I think LSU fans are hurtling towards a Tulane LSU New Year's Six Bowl, the oldest school of LSU rivalries, dude.
Don't lose that one. Don't lose that one.
No, I know, dude.
Don't lose that one.
You want to say what's up to Aaron, babe? I'm in the Goldshire Inn. She just got out of the shower.
Oh. All right, good show.
Team. You would show up. You would show up if you snuck past me in the back. So, careful, dog. Yeah, go. Who doesn't like James Madison, right? I don't know much about him. I know they win every time. I know got a bunch of friends who bet on them every week and have won way more than they've lost the last 2 years. So shout out to him. All right, let's see anything else here. Somebody said Kirby chasing Sundays, Kirby ammo. I love it. Yeah, there you go, Aaron. See?
There you go.
Yeah. I can't believe they have us as the number 2 team in the country after we beat Mizzou. God, I'm pissed.
I feel you, Kirby. I get the pain, man. It's nonsense.
All right. That'll do it for tonight's show. Anything else, Aaron?
No. Just we'll go to bed shocked, but it's the ammunition the Dogs needed, I guess, to take care of business Saturday night. Be pumping that in the locker room tomorrow.
Well, we got a big preview show tomorrow. We're going to preview all the games coming up the weekend. We have our sit down with Colin Wilson, gambling, coming out on Thursday. I am hoping to do a new little chill thing on Friday. I can't make any promises yet. And then Saturday, we'll do a reaction show to Penn State, Michigan, and the rest of that slate. And then we'll have our Sunday reaction show as well. So like, subscribe, a massive thank you to everybody hanging out. And share snaps with your friends. And a huge thank you to Pat Gunther and Chris Tran and Danny Carnes, Adam Gracia, Christian Hunter, everybody else who works so hard to put all the great content out and the thumbnails and all the other hard work that actually is like way harder than just sitting here and pontificating. We love you, and we'll see you tomorrow on a brand new episode of Snaps.